Lingering amongst the living, the undead haunt the land of Hyrule. Spirits that have yet to pass on, some feeding off their hatred for the kingdom, others holding on to past mistakes, and even those that are imprisoned. Happy Halloween, Poes and Baccos. Welcome to my annual spooky special. Take a step into the supernatural as I cover the haunting in Hyrule, getting a closer look at the spectral phenomena that take place in Breath of the Wild. Oh, and before we get into the festivities, here's the topic of the week. What Zelda character creeps you out the most? While you're in the comments, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Back to the spooky. From the beginning, Breath of the Wild sets the tone. Upon leaving the Chamber of Resurrection, Link is met by the old man. He's a helpful fellow, showing up to point Link in the right direction at every turn. He can be found all around the Great Plateau, hunting, chopping down trees, and reminiscing by the campfire. It's not until you've completed all 4 shrines required to leave the plateau that the geezer shows his true face. Doing away with his disguise, the old man reveals that he's the late King of Hyrule. His spirit has haunted the Great Plateau for 100 years, waiting for the day the hero would awaken so that he could instruct him to save the kingdom and, more importantly, his daughter from Calamity Ganon. Burdened by the loss of his kingdom and regret from the pressure he put on his daughter, the King of Hyrule stuck around in the world of the living on the chance that he would be able to set things right. On the day of the calamity, the king's demise was rather dark. Much in the same way Link fell fighting off guardians, the king went down with his ship by taking a guardian blast to the face while attempting to defend the castle from Calamity Ganon. With such an abrupt death, he was never able to convey his true feelings to the Princess of Hyrule. All those demands, all those stern discussions, they were meant to protect her, to protect the people of Hyrule. While he may be a benevolent spirit, it's chilling to know he suffered for that long. Confined to the Great Plateau, left to ponder his past mistakes for a century, only able to hear the tones of the Song of Healing once Calamity Ganon has been put down like the beast he is. In the end, King Rhoam was truly met with a terrible fate. Who doesn't like a good skeleton for Halloween? How about those that are inhabited by spirits of the dead? One of the most abundant forms of the undead in Hyrule is of the stall variety. Mostly slain enemies come back from the grave in Breath of the Wild. There are many variants. We have stall koblins, Lizalfos, moblins, and Hinox. Each of these skeletal creatures has returned from the dead because of their immense hatred for Hyrule, allowing them to manifest their spirit in a pile of bones, terrorizing the physical realm. Once the sun goes down, the stalls come out to play. Digging their way out from underneath the ground, these monstrous creatures have one goal: kill anything in sight. While the normal stall enemies are horrifying enough, it gets even worse when you come into contact with the cursed variety. These are stall enemies that have been forcefully brought back from the dead to live a life devoid of choice. Possessed by malice, these enemies have been stripped of their free will to further Calamity Ganon's wishes. Again, to kill anything in sight. To be honest, monsters in general are frightening enough when you put the blood moon into perspective. Each time a blood moon rises, so too do the defeated monsters throughout Hyrule. As Ganon's demonic power is strengthened under the light of the red moon, he can resurrect all previously deceased monsters. So in a sense, the entire overworld is filled with the resurrected spirits of dead monsters. Either way you slice it, Hyrule is infected with an evil that never rests, whether that be undead creatures or monsters aided by demonic powers. Bringing the haunt to a close are the spirits of the 4 champions. Slain by the Blights, the champions of Hyrule, Mipha, Daruk, Ravioli, and Urbosa were trapped within their divine beasts, left to haunt their corridors for 100 years. The worst part about their fate is it was against their will. One after another, each of the champions fell to the Blights, who then hijacked the divine beasts, ripping control away from their masters. Over the past century, the champions have lied in wait for the hero to regain control. As a desperate attempt to signal for help, the champions used the little control of the beasts they had to send out an SOS message in Morse code, which can be heard in the background of each dungeon theme. Sad stuff. While a majority of their time was spent with the beasts being dormant, just before Link woke up, they awakened to wreak havoc on the land. Imagine how it must have felt to witness the very tool you used to try to save your people turned against them with nothing you could do about it. Not only did the champions haunt the inside of the divine beasts, but the Blights haunted the very people of Hyrule. To take it further, it gets even worse with the addition of the Blights. Stepping into speculative territory, what if I told you these were the reanimated corpses of the ancient champions from 10,000 years ago? Dark, right? Think about it for a moment. Each of the Blights represents the elements of their specific beast. They also wield similar weapon sets to that of the newer champions, and they were able to get the jump on them, entering the divine beasts, passing through their defense mechanisms before the champions could reach them. As it is, Calamity Ganon is the king of possession. He has the guardians, cursed enemies, and monsters all under his control. Taking over a corpse would be child's play for this boy. In addition, this would be tactically viable. Taking over the former pilots would come with many perks, including the knowledge and capability to enter and take over the beasts. My final comment on the subject is that the Blights faintly resemble the champions featured in the ancient tapestry. Blights aside, the spirits that inhabit the divine beasts are eerie enough, sort of calling back to Majora's Mask in a way. Once again, there are restless spirits that Link must soothe by defeating the evil that sickens the land with its malice. Finally put to rest once said evil is defeated and the land cleansed of its darkness. May the champions of Hyrule rest in peace. That's a wrap for this year's Halloween special. Thank you all so much for tuning in. What do you think? Ghostly enough for you? If you're unsatisfied, think about checking out the 2 videos in the end slate. Please remember to like and subscribe before tuning off to help out the channel. Have a safe and happy Halloween, peeps. RMFH out.